It just promotes constant kind of partying atmosphere, lots and lots of different, drug dens, dancing centers, celebrations, little circuses and, carnivals and all of that kind of stuff is represented in that last section, that innermost section. So this definitely kind of is interesting that there's quite a bit more to see in this place and to do and interact with. And now you definitely have a kind of general sense of if you're looking for something in particular, you've got these kind of three choices. Now, you know that there was a fourth kind of section that you've seen already, which was that outer one when you first arrived here and you came through the old kind of castle gates and all of the the gardens and so forth. That is more of like the exterior of this facility. So anyway, so now you have a kind of grasp of what is where. Let's go ahead and say that takes you a few moments of kind of walking around and putting some things together and looking at some things. Let's switch back over to Ren. Ren, you're now sitting before this individual, and again, she looks very calm and composed now. You would guess that she actually gave it just the right amount of time to kind of collect herself so that any onlookers probably wouldn't really blink twice. They wouldn't give it any kind of extra look because it just seemed like somebody at a bar who took a whole bunch of substances really quickly that had some kind of little emotional breakdown and now has collected herself and is moving on with her day. All things considered, as you put all of this together, a rather impressive performance, you've got to admit. All while surreptitiously handing you something. Okay, as you're putting this together in your mind, go ahead and roll a perception check if you would, sir.
Ren, are you muted again?
Crap. Sorry, I was.
You're good, man. No worries.
My cat's been bothering me, and I don't want to make background noise, so I keep muting myself and forgetting to.
Bro, no worries at all. As long as you don't mind repeating yourself, we're good.
Could you actually repeat your last bit? Because I just got all flustered.
Sure. No worries at all. Yeah, I know, we're jumping around quite a bit. So as you were sitting across from her, you noticed that she composed herself just right, where people watching would probably think it was a very standard, somebody that was really upset coming in, doing a bunch of drugs and substances, having a little breakdown, and then getting themselves pulled back together. Now, the whole time she was doing this, though, she was handing you something, and it makes you really reevaluate. I mean, that it seemed like a pretty masterful performance. And as you're putting this together in your head, if you could go ahead and roll a perception check.
Perception. You're being quite obnoxious today.
Oh! All right. As you're putting all this together, you now go back a little and you wonder if her screaming maybe had something to do with this as well. If the way that she presented that was part of this as well. It gets you thinking.
Oh, not just Ren's thinking that. Yeah, I'm thinking that.
Okay, good. Now, as you're pondering on this, you think back to something that happened that made you, in the moment, it didn't really occur to you. But when you saw her get her drugs when she first got into the bar, when you saw that, you noticed something peculiar in the moment that you're recalling now. All of the substances she picked up and kind of grabbed and started kind of manhandling and getting ready to use, except for one. There was one that she left on the kind of tray for just a moment and seemed to take her time with. And that was the small rectangular box which you saw her take the slime out of. Thinking back now, you're almost sure that that box is what she slipped you. Now, if she was on purpose picking that up last and making a show of that in the moment, it means that even then, she was trying to communicate something to you. And as you begin putting all of these things together, it definitely occurs to you that whatever this thing she's trying to signal you about, somehow this slime and the way she screamed, "We are slaves," they seem not necessarily causally related, but definitely about some similar topic, okay? That, with the way she handed this to you, you're definitely getting the impression that something about this slime is incredibly important when it comes to her desires about the control that she's under, and the way she pronounced that she's a slave to you, you would guess she's trying to give you some kind of message. So the slime and the message together are the real message, okay?
I'm just imagining those green slimes in Futurama that they stick on their heads and they're just like,
Now, it's important to remember that this was... I'm sure you guys know this, but it's important to remember that this was an orange slime that slightly had kind of like glitter in it. It had just a little bit of a glittering kind of glowing effect to it, okay? All right. So the final part of that is that you realize that this entire ruse happened because somehow she believes you guys are being surveilled. Okay? So you put those three different key aspects together in your observations here. What would you care to do? She's just kind of passively looking at you and waiting for you to, kind of waiting to see what you will ask or say. She does reach out and begin calmly pouring, Akama, did you leave them drinks? I'm sorry.
He left.
Excellent.
He poured
Excellent.
glasses and then left with it. Yeah.
Beautiful. So she does reach out and grab one of the glasses of whiskey and begin slowly sipping on it.
See, I don't know. I'm interested by this thing that she handed me, but I also don't want... I mean, it's also given to me in secret, so I don't know. Well, I have no idea what it is or what it can do, or I don't want to whip it out in the middle of everything since it was so carefully, secretly given to me. I think Ren will look at her and say, I think I need to use the restroom. Are you going to be okay for a moment?
She looks at you and just smiles rather pleasantly, calmly and pleasantly, and just nods in the affirmative. Continues sipping her whiskey.
He'll, how big of a pour was the whiskey you poured, Akama? Was it like a sipping?
It's like 4 fingers.
Amount? 4 fingers. Fuck it. Ren's gonna grab the whole thing and slam it and walk in the bathroom.
Hell yeah.
Damn, bro. For real?
Double shot, yeah.
All right. You fucking knock it back, and right away you're
You get a bear shot. I respect it.
I'm on the way
Your
to the
tummy
bathroom.
gets
too, so
warm.
yeah,
Right?
I'm on the way to the bathroom, so if it doesn't decide to settle, I got somewhere to be. I got somewhere
Right
to
on.
put it. Yeah.
All right, so you go ahead and knock it back quick style, and you just see a very sly grin slide across her face. unbelievably easily, and you kind of wonder what you've seen of her so far. You bet when she's relaxed and in a good mood, this could be a very charming individual. There's something about the way she is able to control her outward kind of perception that people get of her, with skill and grace like an actor. There's something very alluring about just her personality. Now, as you head back to the restroom, you pass a few of the bar patrons, and nobody seems to even give you a second look. It's nice to feel like you're not really noticed in this environment, and the anonymity, you definitely wear it comfortably. You head into the restroom, and as you get there, it's clear and empty. All the normal staples are present. What would you like to do?
I'm going to go to a stall.
Okay. You head into the first one, and there is some central pole with lots of spigots sticking out that appears to go up the rectum of some type of creature. You decide to opt out of that one, and as you go into the next, it's a normal human stall. You've closed the door behind you. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna kind of look around, see if any look by my feet and above me, above the stall, to see if no one's peeking over or looking underneath.
Nope.
There's no
looky
devices
loos.
or anything.
No looky loos.
I'm gonna reach and see what I have in me pocket.
All right, as you go into your pocket and pull the small rectangle out, it's got a relatively simple kind of latch that when you unfasten it, you're able to slide the inner compartment out. And you see that inside there's just some very small trace amounts of that orange goo with the kind of glitter and the glow kind of not really pulsing, but there's just a little bit of variance to the glow. So it seems almost alive instead of just a static kind of light. But you see small bits of it kind of, coagulated in the corners of the little box shaped drawer, and it looks like it would be just enough if you needed to analyze it or whatever, but certainly not enough to like wipe your finger in there and get any kind of, if she didn't have a heart attack off of the amount she put in her ear, then wiping your finger in there and ingesting it certainly isn't going to do much in your estimation. Does that make sense? Not enough to get high. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. It's like just watching someone do a rail of coke, and you just take it and the cop scene where they like stick their pinky in and taste it. Yeah, this is definitely cocaine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I'm going to give it a little poke.
You stick your finger in and it doesn't react at all. So
I'm gonna pull it out and kind of like a, sticky finger, like look at it kind of closely between my index and thumb, kind of.
Now the amount that's in there would be barely enough, and this is everything spread out around the corners and everything. It would be barely enough if you stuck like a cotton swab in and wiped all of it up to just kind of coat the outside of the cotton swab with a thin bit. So if you put your finger in, what you pull out with, the way your finger is shaped and everything, it's just a tiny little wet dot on the tip of your finger. Not even enough to really have any
does it just feel like liquid, or is it a little bit more viscous? Is it thicker?
As you touch it, the sensation that you're able to pull from it is that it has a kind of like a gel kind of feel, and it's just a little bit of viscosity, and then you feel almost like there's small granules, that maybe that's what the kind of glitter kind of aspect to it is these tiny little granules.
Ooh, it's exfoliating.
Right. Your fingers feel fresh and rejuvenated afterwards. But yeah, you also notice as you kind of run it between your thumb and finger and then separate, it doesn't look so tacky that it's leaving like large kind of trails or connections between your fingers.
Okay.
It separates relatively easy, kind of like, like old school slime from when we were all kids and stuff. Just,
Sure, yeah.
you know,
I feel that Ren, as in most things, I, as me speaking, not the character, I feel like as I've been thinking more and more about this character, I feel like his mental state is that of your traditional D&D berserker, as far as when he starts thinking about things, it ramps up, and then he gets like he overthinks things to the point where he basically, his mind goes into a rage type state, like a berserker type state.
okay.
And he overthinks things and gets himself into trouble. He's very untrusting. He's constantly stressed because of his mind running a mile per minute. So at this moment, he's thinking of all these things, and it starts amping up and amping up and amping up and amping up and revving higher and higher and higher. And then finally he just goes, slow down. And he just takes a little bit and rubs it in his ear.
All right. You don't think there's enough. You don't think there's enough. You think that if you were to try and get as much out with your finger as you could and put it in your ear, it would be almost nothing.
He's going to still try to do whatever he can with it.
All right. You
'Cause
do.
he doesn't know what it is, and he just is.
You do, and as soon as you would guess that there might still be enough to maybe analyze. There's still some very trace amounts in the box, but what you're able to get out on your finger, you stick your finger into your ear canal, and as you withdraw it, you just feel a little bit of a kind of cool, almost like menthol kind of sensation moving
icy
through
hot. God damn it.
through your ear canal just a bit. And as it does so, you start feeling this kind of almost like an itch going up your back. Like
He's gonna try to completely rest his thoughts, rest his mind, and almost like try to meditate almost to an extent and just focus purely on that sensation to see if he feels anything, considering he doesn't feel like it's enough. So
okay,
And
how are you oriented right now? Are you like on the john? Are you
I'm
standing
sitting
up?
on if it's got a closed seat, he's sitting on a closed seat. If not, he's sitting on a fucking nasty seat.
Okay, no, it's got a closed seat. Yeah, they're highfalutin here.
Pants up.
Yeah, pants
Sitting
up.
No, he's not
Oh,
two birds
shit.
one. He's not two birds one stone in this. He's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
since I'm in here.
All right. So as you do this and you're sitting there, you feel this kind of itchy sensation go up your spine, almost like a bolt of lightning. It's so strong, and right away it makes you use both of your hands to kind of try and reach around to your back and scratch, but you're not quite limber enough to really have it be effective. After 3 or 4 seconds, that itchy sensation fades away, and you audibly relax with a sigh because it was really fucking unpleasant. But as it starts fading, a warm, kind of mellow and relaxed sensation flows over you, almost like on a cold day getting into a nice hot bath and just laying your head back and kind of not feeling your body anymore, just floating. And as that starts picking up, you feel it start getting noticeable enough to where your mood really starts improving, and you start relaxing in a profound and serious way that is almost jarring because of how stressed you've been. As this starts kind of picking up in magnitude, you feel it almost just dissipate into a kind of ethereal smoke, and then you kind of come back down. You feel the weight of your body return. You feel the troubles that plague you come back into your orbit. And although your mood is definitely still slightly elevated, you feel as though it's already pretty much worn off.
So is Ren gathering that she now popped all these things in the open, in the public, so everyone could see this huge mess of drugs in front of her, and at the very end basically put like a mood stabilizer to top off everything to kind of keep her
you're guessing that whatever this drug does, other than how it makes you feel, there might be something much more important about it than that. It may be much more important than just the effect neurologically of the drug.
Okay, sure.
Okay?
Well then, if he's done feeling what it is done being felt, he'll keep the remaining container and whatever's left in it, and hopefully, if there's anything remaining at all, try to analyze that later when he has time in a secure lab type setting or something.
Okay. Excellent. You go ahead and get everything buttoned back up. What do you want to do?
He's in the bathroom, he'll pee, and then
Smart. Often overlooked.
And then he'll do one of the cup his hand under the sink and drink a little bit of water to rinse down some of that whiskey that he just had chugged down.
Okay.
Get some water in him to keep him, okay and everything, but
All
also
right.
at the same time drinking it in the
You're
bathroom
definitely feeling it.
to not look like he needs to get a water, so he's gonna just drink a little in the bathroom.
Okay. You go ahead and do that. Everything goes nice and smooth. Still nobody has come in. And you're all set.
Yeah, I guess that's what he does. So yeah, he goes back out to join her back at the table.
Okay. You head back out and join Geiger back at the table. She has sipped about halfway down on her drink at this point. Let's go ahead and switch back over to Ymir. As you're standing there, Blitz has made his way over into your kind of vicinity. He's standing, 10 feet away. He's got his arms folded with a large stogie of some sort hanging out from between two kind of gnarled, warped fingers. And you can actually see blisters all around the edges of his two first fingers on his left hand, where he has held on to these strange things that he smokes, these weird substances, for so long that his fingers have actually started, you don't know what kind of disease it is, but his skin is literally starting to peel off right there at the point of contact.
So Ymir's moniker of tumor face for him is indeed
Yes.
warranted, then is
Very,
what you're saying.
Very, very astute observation. Yes, indeed.
Okay. Just as a little scene setting, just so I'm clear, the baker just wants me to pose in front of this, or are they offering like, hey, show us your skills, eat this right now?
No. He's just asking you to pose. Just to
okay,
pose.
Good. Okay, I needed some clarification. They were rolling out this big thing like, here you go, giant, eat this. And I was like, I don't know about that. But, okay.
That's a big fucking cannoli, baby.
Right, exactly. That's a big fun. And I just drank a keg of mead, like
Right.
a legit keg of mead. So, yeah, maybe a little too
You're
hard
gonna
on the
you're
call.
gonna crap 300 gallons of pancake batter, bro.
Apparently, yeah. And clear out the entire block. They're going to have to
Right.
call in. Yeah, it'd be bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It'd be like the molasses flood in Boston in the 1700s.
All right. So, what are you interested in?
Looking at,
The guys are still laughing, by the way, at his
of
idea.
course,
They're
yeah.
still laughing.
of course. Given what Blitz told him, Ymir's expression sort of hardens a little bit at him because of to him, he understands that he's jesting, that he's trying to just rile him up, get underneath his skin. Oh, hold up.
Sure.
Okay, I'm still here. My bad. My monitor shut off.
Oh, no worries,
I
man.
flipped out for a second. Given he understands he's just trying to rile him up, get underneath his skin, kind of a light jest, but Ymir is.
Oh no. I want to be clear. He was 100% serious. He thinks you should stand there and hold it like your hog, kind of out in front of your pelvis, and take the picture that way because you got a 12 foot tall dude with a shrimp for he's.
Yeah, no.
But in his mind, I just want to make it clear, like in his mind, that really is super funny, and he's just trying to like.
Of course, he's trying to take the piss out of me. That's what he's trying to do. His Ymir's expression hardens at him, and he looks at him very sternly, still calmly, because he's still trying to moxie up the confidence and to stand for the picture and be respectful to the baker and his art form, because he respects all art forms, especially baking, because it feeds villages like his all the time. People often overlook simple things like bread makers and ale makers because it seems such a common thing, but Ymir has much respect for these type of art forms, regardless.
Now,
of
as
just
you're
the
thinking all of this, he's looking at you with that exact look, with that stogie between his lips. He's just like watching you process things with
Yeah,
that exact
and-
look, okay?
And Ymir shoots a look back at him and he goes, "You may think me simple, Blitz, but I'm not stupid. I don't need that kind of attention." And he somewhat kind of stiffens up a little bit. Like I said, still relaxed, but he's not standing in the pose anymore. He's actually put his hammer back on his back, and he's taking a more dignified, more neutral stance than what he was doing before. Maybe he'll cross his arms for the picture or something like that. But the point is, he wants to let Blitz know that he's almost offended by his suggestion because
Fair
of the
enough.
disrespect to the baker.
Fair enough. Blitz, so as you do this, he's watching you and just kind of chewing on that stogie. And you stand up and get into your kind of, more kind of noble posture and everything. And he still is just kind of like eyeing you, just looking at you. And finally he gets this kind of wide grin on his face, and he just says, "You're a fucking serious one, aren't you?" He says, "Here, I got something for you." And he walks over, and from inside of his trench coat, he pulls out a long silver tube. And you can tell it's not, real silver, but it's meant to kind of evoke an importance upon the product held within. You see that there's a single, what looks to be like a lily embossed on the front of the tube. And it also appears to unscrew. Now, this thing looks like it's made for a rather large cigar. It looks like it's probably about 8 inches, 9 inches long, and several fingers thick. Pretty massive. He hands it over and just holds it out to you, and he says, "A peace offering." He says, "Trust me, it'll take the edge off. Just don't break me in half or fucking eat me. Fair enough?" And he just smiles up at you in a very, for that face and the state of his teeth underneath, it's a fairly charming smile. And what you pick up from it is honest, just camaraderie. He seems genuinely just to be trying to say, "Hey, I wasn't trying to, be an asshole." And then he looks at you and he kind of narrows his eyes a little bit, and he says, "You know it would be funny, right?"
Ultimate wingman.
Well, Ymir, seeing this honest gesture, once again, like the last time, his mood sort of lightens, especially with the where Blitz said, "Don't fight me or eat me." Ymir audibly laughs when he hears "Don't eat me," and he sort of lightly as he can, but he sort of palms his shoulder enough to where it feels to him like a hearty slap, and he goes, "Eat you, Devana? In my village, you're too skin and bones. You would barely make a toothpick for one of my brothers and sisters. We wouldn't eat you."
All right. At this, he laughs and he says, "Fair enough, fair enough." He looks over and he says, So how are you gonna stand? What are you gonna do? Show me.
And Ymir gets in just feeling the energy, feeling the mood lighten. Ymir takes a very confident pose. He it almost looks like Kevin Sorbo in Hercules, how he would cross his arms on the cover of the old DVDs
I
on the
remember.
TV show. He stands very tall and proud next to the smaller people ready for the picture to be taken, but sort of exaggerates it, sort of gives Blitz a little wink, like he's hamming it up a little bit just to try to get him to laugh.
Who's the dude's name?
Like a
It's
big smile.
Joshua?
Eolus.
Yolis.
Yep,
Something like that.
yep.
I remember that shit. I do remember that shit. That and Briscoe County Jr. I'm fucking old, people. All right. At this point, right as the picture's about to be taken, now, by the way, as the cameraman is instructed by the baker to hurry up and get in position, you could see the 4 different workers all kind of get crestfallen and go, "Aw," when they realize that you're not doing it. But indeed, he snaps to attention and he gets in position right as he's about to take the picture. Coming up on your side is a comma. And a comma, as you've been wandering around getting a look for this place, your kind of travels have brought you kind of right over next to where this is all happening. So you are walking forward and you look over and you see about 10 feet away the guy with the camera, and about, about 20 feet away the guy with the camera, and about 10 feet away you see Ymir standing there kind of posing with this giant baked good that looks like a shrimp. As you walk up, you can tell they're getting ready to take some kind of picture here. What would you like to do?
How tall is the cameraman?
He looks like he's about 5'5".
And the Ymir's like what, 12?
12 feet.
I'm gonna walk behind the cameraman and then briskly pick him up and put him on my shoulders, and I say, "There you go. Maybe you got some time, some length to you, so the picture will look nice."
All right, as you do so, he kind of starts to freak out for a second until he realizes what you're doing, and then he just in a very, accommodating way, he's up for a good, picture or whatever's happening in his game. So he gets up on your shoulders and he starts steadying himself and getting ready. Ymir, any last minute things you want to do as you see this happen?
Just Ymir kind of gently nods to the cameraman as Akama lifts him up on his shoulders as he sees him, kind of like, "Whoa, what's going on? Like, he's with me. Like, don't worry about it." Like, just
Gotcha.
a gentle nod to let him know that Ymir knows who's picking him up right now.
Okay. All right,
And then strikes the pose once again. Like I said, kind of as a wink and a nod, slightly looking at Blitz, showing him that he's sort of hamming up the hero pose that he's standing in.
All right, and Blitz gets a pretty big grin on his face and takes another long pull. You wanted to put that stogie away, didn't you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Ymir took the peace offering as he made the joke, as he clapped him on the shoulder to say, "Oh no, you wouldn't make a fit meal in back in my home village."
All right.
Anyway, he puts the silver, the long peace offering in his pack.
Excellent. All right, so everything is ready. The picture is snapped and frozen in time. Right away, the guy kind of uncomfortably tries to get off of your shoulders, Akama, noticing that now that the moment's over, he feels a little foolish.
And before he can get down, I'm gonna tilt my body, and I said, "There you go, small one."
Okay. He slides off of you and tries to kind of get the wedgie out of his ass. You see right away the baker run over to him, and they start kind of messing with the footage and excitedly, checking things out. He took several pictures. Akama, you see Blitz standing there on the sidelines, and as you notice him, he's looking over at you, and he gives you a pretty respectful kind of bow of the head, and he says, Atlantean.
I return the bow of the head, and I say, "Blitz."
Okay, and he gets a creepy kind of grotesque smile across his face, and then he turns and he says, "I wonder if you'd help me with a small errand I'd like to hire someone for."
Is he looking at me or
Yeah,
Amir?
he's looking at you.
Oh. Step into my office, and I kind of like give the hand gesture of like, "Come here, let's take a walk."
He nods and kind of walks over with you. As you guys get just a few feet away, he goes, "It's really nothing much." He pulls out a small pack of 5 of those little pixie sticks. And he says, "I was wondering if you'd just hold something for me for a few minutes, or if you'd hold something for me for a few seconds while I take a picture." And kind of holds out the pixie sticks towards you.
Is he gonna take a picture of me? Like, do I get that?
He shakes
impression?
his head and he goes, No. He says, I want to do something real quick before they start getting rid of all that stuff." And he puts his thumb over his shoulder, pointing back towards the bakery stuff.
So hold his cigarettes. Sure, I'll hold his cigarettes.
Oh, he shakes his head. He goes, No, these are for you if you'll just hold something for me.
And I'll give him like a confused look and say, "What am I holding?"
Okay, he throws his hands up at the air and he goes, "Jesus Christ! These guys is all so fucking uptight. Listen, bro. Come over here with me." And he just reaches out and pats you on the shoulder and then takes the pixie stick pack and he kind of like tucks it into your upper kind of like lapel or whatever so that it'll stay. And then he kind of starts leading you over towards where everybody was standing. Do you want to kind of go with him?
Yeah, I'll follow.
Okay, as you head over with him, he looks up at you, Ymir, and he just kind of grins and smiles. And he looks over at the baker real quick, and he says, "Hey, buddy, I'll give you 100 credits if you let me take a picture with that croissant." And the baker says, "Oh, no. He says, "We appreciate the Giants' participation." He says, the treat is his. Whatever he wishes to do with it is his right now. He says, "The only thing I would ask is that you leave the hand cart. You can take the shrimp and the basket that it's in." And he kind of holds his arms out almost like he's waiting for applause from a crowd that isn't there. But, his magnanimous gesture, he feels, should be acknowledged in some way. And right away, all of his workers all start clapping and applauding, just to stroke his ego. You can tell he's that kind of guy. So as he says this, Blitz spins around and looks over at you, Ymir, and he goes, "Well, what do you say? Can I take a picture with it?" And gets a big smile on his face.
Ymir looks at Blitz kind of deadly serious at first, that deadly cold-eyed stare that he's used to most of the time. And then his expression changes. The grin goes wide in his eyes because he can tell that Blitz really wants this to happen. Really, really wants this to happen. And he goes, Blitz, I will let you take the picture, but it can't be in front of this establishment, as to not disrespect the baker. You want to have your fun? That's fine. I'm more than happy to cart this anywhere on this street for you to have your picture, but not here.
Okay, and at this,
Deal?
the baker chimes in from behind you guys and goes, "Humph!" Just kind of very satisfied with you standing up for the honor of his establishment. And Blitz just grins and goes, "Whatever you say, Chief." All right, with this, they wheel it over around in the opposite direction, so it's just going to kind of be picking up some background shops. And he asks you to go ahead and hold the shrimp up, the comma, out in front of him, and sees if you'll do that.
So basically holding a shrimp cock.
Yeah, shrimp cock holder. But you're getting 5 pixie sticks. You know what I'm saying?
For free.
I mean, you got to hold a shrimp.
I like
it's sort of
how you
free.
chime in for free. Hmm.
Because it's too big, he can't hold it. You get it? He can't. It's too big. So you kind of have to do some
I'll hold
stagecraft
it
where you're
depending-
on a knee in the back and basically holding this thing out to the side, and he's going to stand in front of it, kind of thing.
So I'm like behind him holding it.
Yeah.
All right, fuck it.
This isn't like a fluffer situation. This is just holding a prop. That's it.
I'm fluffing.
Ymir's not going to say, oh, what a lovely tea party, boys. Don't worry about it. It's not one of those situations.
Oh, shit. Creepiest line ever. All right. So what do you say, Akama? Are you in? Yeah? What's happening?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So you go ahead and hold this thing, and he stands in front of it, and he makes this wild, like, arms up in the air, Hulk Hogan kind of flex pose, and kind of puts one knee up, you know, not quite Captain Morgan style, but kind of close to that, and really hams it all up. And they take the picture, and he fucking just lets out this big hoot. He gets all excited and just lets out this big holler, and then takes another big pull off of his stogie, which has been lit the whole time, and he runs on over to the guy taking the picture, and he holds up a small similar device and taps it next to the other one and transfers the images, and he seems extremely happy. He seems extremely happy with how that all went down. You see that right afterwards, Ymir and Akama, what are you wanting to do as soon as the picture's taken, by the way?
As soon as the picture's taken, Ymir is going to wheel the cart back in front of the bakery after the pastry has been set back down in the cart, and he pulls off a few massive chunks, and he puts one in his pack for later to munch on, and he has another one in his hand for Wotek. And he looks around and beckons for the baker. Is the baker still around? Is he still outside?
Yep, he's still standing there. This is a big, big deal for him, so.
Okay. Ymir gets down on one knee as low as he can, so he is eye to eye with him. And he nods graciously at the baker and goes, "This should suffice for my brother bear companion and I. I will ask my other companions if they want a piece. But the rest of this, you must promise me you will use this to feed the hungry and lonely children that no doubt roam these streets. I know how hard it is to find a meal in an environment such as this, and sometimes they have to steal to eat. Rather than that, I would rather have you feed them with the rest of this bounty. Can we agree upon this?"
Okay, and at this, he looks at you very somberly the whole time that you're talking to him, apparently putting great weight to your words. And you notice that the entire time his expression is like a piece of stone, just completely absorbed in calculating and analyzing your words. And as you reach the end of your statement, your inquisition, he looks at you and you see his eyes kind of glaze over just a bit, and he says, "Noble giant," he says, "I would be honored to fulfill such a request." He says, "I will make sure to spread the good word of your deeds among the people and do what I can to grow your legend." At this, he smiles very, very warmly and bows deeply at the waist, and kind of holds it for just a moment before rising again.
Ymir nods his head slightly and goes, I do this not for legend, noble baker. I do this to bring a little order and balance to the darker corners of this world. Children, especially, should never have to face the horrors of starvation. This is all I look for. And nods his head somberly, and starts to make his way back, I guess, across towards Wotek, still holding the piece of the pastry in his hand for his noble bear companion.
Okay, as you start heading back over,
You can switch to a comma if you want to, or
yeah, as you start heading back over, you do see that you guys all see that they've pretty much finished kind of transferring the pictures and getting things set.
excellent.
And most of the workers have started kind of gathering around to look at both of the pictures that were taken. And Kamo, what would you like to be doing?
Well, after I was holding the shrimp, I guess, was the shrimp like put back in the basket, or
Yeah.
was
yeah.
it? Okay. So I mean, I will bow at the baker and say, thank you for this wonderful event.
Okay.
And then,
And at this, his eyes get pretty round as he sees an Atlantean, obviously an Atlantean there, and he nods and just gets a big smile on his face and kind of does a little mini bow several times in a row nervously. You guys are a big fucking deal. You guys are a big deal.
then I walk off. I guess I walk back toward the bar.
Okay? You turn and start walking away, and as you do so, and at that moment, Ymir, concurrently, Blitz yells, "Hey, guys, come here. Look," and starts kind of waving you over.
Ymir turns and follows Blitz's voice,
Okay.
heads
He-
back over, stops what he's doing, and follows him back in his direction.
Okay. As you just kind of step a couple of, strides over to him.
Yeah, I'm just lazily walking across the road anyway, so
Okay. And Akama, what would you like to do? Do you want to go see what he's
I'll
talking
do the
about?
same.
Okay. As you guys step over, he basically just holds up his little screen, and as you see the picture fully put together and everything, you definitely have to kind of snicker to yourself because it just looks ridiculous. It's you don't even think that it's like the comedy hits the mark, but just the look of it is just nonsensical. And the grin that he's given the camera is just horrific. And then the worker holds up the small screen he was working on, and you see the image of you, Ymir, and you actually like it. You feel like you come across a lot more warmly than you would have expected to. And as you actually consider the fact that it appears some people are like watching information about you with interest, it occurs to you for the very first time that this is a picture that probably would make people like impressed. You know what I mean? Like this is it's a very foreign concept to you, and so you hear the gears grinding as you start processing this kind of shit. But that part of it actually kind of gives you a bit of satisfaction that you kind of stuck to your guns and were
A little bit of pride.
Yeah,
little bit
exactly.
of self-confidence.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, Blitz says to you guys, hey, let me see a communicator. I'll go ahead and tap over.
Tap over.
And he kind of scrunches his eyebrows and he goes, yeah, where's your communicator?
Oh, our other companion has it.
And he says, what do you mean? How do you talk to him?
We always next to each other.
And he just starts laughing. And then the workers start laughing.
Oh, it's just next to each other.
And you hear a couple of the workers go, man, you can buy them in any shop around here. They're everywhere. Just how do they talk to each other? And
That's not true.
Blitz just kind of looks at you guys and he goes, yeah, I'm not trying to talk down to you. I know you're an Atlantean and everything, but you guys probably do good having a way to talk to each other. And he starts laughing. He just starts laughing.
I kind of give the steel look, like what the fuck?
Like blue
And
steel?
yeah, blue
Ooh,
steel.
ooh, that's the
I
good
hit him
one.
with that blue steel.
Oh shit!
And I look at the workers and Blitz at the same time, kind of like switching between them. Like, are you trying to like get over me? Like, what's
They
up?
stopped laughing. They stopped laughing when you obviously shifted gears there, and Blitz's voice, calms quite a bit, and he goes, "Oh wait, whoa, listen, just trying to make a suggestion. I just have this is the way I come across. Don't bust my balls for just trying to talk to you. Now, I'm just trying to suggest, if I was an adventurer and I'm out in a cave or in an old ruin or a fucking military base, something, wherever the fuck I'm at, I'd probably want to be able to say to my buddies, hey, the enemy's over here. I come kill the enemy over here, right? Or hey, I'm trapped under rocks over here, and come save my life over here. So I'm just trying to express. You guys might want to go ahead and find some communicators. Might help. That's all I'm trying to say, Chief. That's all I'm trying to say. No reason to get your blood pressure up.
Okay, pause for a second.
Yep.
I believe Harmony gave us all communicators before we left for the monastery.
Mhm.
I believe that we're all carrying them now because she handed at least to one of us and spread it out amongst all three of us because that's what we were supposed to keep in contact with her over.
Would you guys
So-
like to produce your communicators?
I'm just saying I believe. I don't know if it's 100% fact,
If that-
but I
That
was
Well,
under the
she did give us because she also asked the same question, and we
Yes.
were like, no, we don't have anything like that, and that's why she laughed and she gave us.
Yeah, and then she's like, I'm not busting your balls or anything. No.
so what do you, so would you guys like to produce them or would you? Totally up to you.
I'll act
Nobody
as if
has
I
to
don't have
know.
one.
Okay. Ymir?
following in Kama's lead. Ymir, he doesn't use the communicator because it's a fangled technology that he doesn't understand, but he knows what it is. So he reaches into his pack and produces the communicator.
All right. As you produce it, Blitz just kind of stares at you, and Then he looks over at you, Akama, and he kind of raises an eyebrow, kind of like, what the fuck? And then he looks back at you, Ymir, and he just kind of meekly holds the device out and just taps it against yours, and it instantly receives the file. And so you get his when it sends, it gives you not just that image, but also the one that was taken of you, and then also it tags it with his what's basically called a telex number, and this is going to allow you to contact him if you wish. Okay. You also see that it's got a small marker that tagged the location where the file was captured, and this marker seems to have some kind of map system associated with it, but you have no idea what the fuck is going on there until you actually open it up and see how it works. And like you said, you are definitely not a tech guy, but you see from the little symbol that it's some kind of like mapping feature. Okay. All right. So now that you've gotten that info,
Ymir nods his head respectfully, as like, thank you. They don't know if they're going to contact each other, but still, he understands the gesture that was done, so he just nods his head at Blitz and returns the communicator to his pack.
all right, excellent. As you return it to your pack, you see that the workers now have started kind of, shambling away kind of quickly, feeling a little bit disturbed at drawing the ire of an Atlantean and a giant. And even the baker has started kind of, getting into his command role again, getting people motivated to their different tasks. The basket is now being pulled back into the loading doors, presumably to be sectioned off and given away as instructed. And the only person left standing there is Blitz. And he kind of looks around between the two you guys, and he goes, "Hey, I think maybe we got off on the wrong foot." He says, "I just have a really, fucked up sense of humor." He says, "But I'm a good guy." He says, "I'm a good guy. I like you guys. Ever since we met on the ship, I knew you guys were gonna make a name for yourself. I see what she's done there in the bay. I see what she's done for the people. You gave them a future." He says, "I don't know if you can tell, but I'm a local." He says,
We can tell.
"Smuggler's Bay, that's my home. That's where I'm from." He says, "I've got, lots of family and friends that are really going to benefit from what you guys have done for us. So let me just say, if there's anything you guys need, I know some of the more shady elements, some of the belly lurkers, if you will, of society, and that's where I hang out. Sometimes we can offer some pretty valuable information, skill sets, and so on. Merchandise, illicit substances." So you just let me know if there's something you need, okay? And maybe once in a while you could feed me a little information, just so I could get my beak wet. Just it's little tidbits, little points in the right direction towards treasure, towards anything of value. Got lots of friends that are always looking for some good salvage." He says, "So you take care of me, I'll take care of you, and maybe we both make some money together." He says, what do you say?"
Ymir looks at Blitz very calmly and nods his head at his words, really taking stock of what Blitz said about being a local, about actually being thankful, about wanting to be helped. all his genuine nature shining through, despite his appearance, despite his means of survival. Ymir, even though they have their clashes, Ymir is starting to understand exactly who Blitz is or what he's about, and so he nods his head very somber.